Look guys, I don't make the rules, and the rules are Call of Duty is probably the most relevant game in the online video game community, the online discussion of, what works for players, what players hate, what players really like, things that players want to change. I don't think that there's a single game in all of video game history that has a more vocal community of people who hate the game, love the game, want features to change, want features to stay the same, talk about the golden age, the new age, everything else. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Hey everyone, it's Pillager Senate, bringing you a commentary video over Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and of course, like I already mentioned, we're going to be talking about Call of Duty and its influence on a lot of things. And since this is going to be a multiple episode sequence or a multiple episode series, again, don't know how many episodes off the top of my head, I'm going to have to figure that crap out for myself. But really, episode 1 here is going to be talking about bundles, how they have affected things. And overall, for this entire series, what I want to be talking about is Call of Duty and how the online community is vocal against or even for Call of Duty, and how that is actually a really interesting thing to look at, to discuss, to analyze. And so let's go on ahead and get on into it here. And of course, one of the big issues that I'm going to have with most of my videos is how do I condense all my thoughts, all my knowledge, all of my experience, everything that is in my mind into one short video. Because one problem I tend to have, for anyone who knows me in real life, is I do tend to rant. I do tend to talk about things for an extended period of time. I have lots of thoughts on them, and sometimes talking about things or relevant topics has to, if you have the knowledge in your brain, bring you to other topics. You have to expound upon, well, if I'm talking about this topic, I have to talk about the background of another topic that bleeds into it or connects to it. So I'm going to try my best not to do that. I'm going to try to make very clear points and try to really just treat them as facts. So, first major point, let's talk about bundles. Let's talk about how insane it is that they have the price tag that they do, but not only because the price is high, which it is, but again, Call of Duty's justification for the price of those bundles, which they are very smart in doing. Again, not saying I think it's ethical, not saying I think it's good, but they are smart for doing it. So of course, bundles are in Call of Duty Black Ops 6 now, have been for a few days, a week, 2 weeks, I don't really know, it doesn't really matter. The point is that bundles are in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And for all these bundles, a lot of people are probably looking at them and thinking, man, the price of these bundles is so dang high. I bought this game for $69.99 plus tax. That brought me to anywhere between, depending on where you live and how you bought it, $70 all the way up to $80 and some change, $83, $84, depending on your state sales tax and all that other crap. So you look at a bundle, which is, again, 100 COD points translates to $1. So if you look at something that is 1,000 COD points, that's $10. If you're looking at something that's 20 COD points, that's $20. If you're looking at bundles, which there are plenty of in the Call of Duty store, that are 3,000 COD points or more, you're looking at something that is $30 or more. That is the direct translation. So, in other words, they sell you a game, a full game. This is a very complete package. I am loving Black Ops 6. I think that the content it provides is a full package, a full game. No one should have any complaints about this game not being a full $70 Call of Duty game. People can have that argument about previous Call of Duties, especially Modern Warfare 3. You cannot have that argument with this game. This is a complete package. You have zombies with 2 maps. Both of them are great. Loving both of them. Enjoying both of them. You have a campaign, which is pretty solid. Pretty good reviews. I enjoyed it. I beat it pretty quick on the hardest difficulty in about 2 sittings. Pretty quick. Again, let me remind my community, I have a full-time job. I have a life. I have a girlfriend. I beat the campaign in 2 sittings, but I don't think that's out of the ordinary. Call of Duty campaigns are typically pretty short. I played them during weekends, kind of, just after the game launched. And then we have multiplayer. Multiplayer is a complete experience. We have prestiging. We can completely master prestige, mastery camos, everything you can want. This is a complete package. And in this package, you can unlock calling cards, weapon camos, more weapons. Again, it has the campaign, it has zombies, it has everything you could expect. And you paid $70 for that. $70, right? Typical video game price. But after buying the $70 game, they unleash these bundles about, a month later, 3 weeks later, whatever it is. And these bundles are costing you anywhere on average between $25 and $30 depending on the bundle you're looking at. So you're probably thinking, geez, that is almost half the price, if not completely 1/3 the price of this full game I bought. That is ridiculous. Now, here's the crazy thing. Regardless of all the people who look at those prices and think, that is ridiculous, there are just as many, if not more people, who are thinking, yeah, that's ridiculous, but I'm gonna buy it anyway. I need that super cool skin that makes me look like a green flaming dragon and the cool weapons. Now, if you ask me, I would never buy anything like that. Never. I have no interest in looking like a green flaming dragon. Now, let me clarify. I do see the appeal of looking like a green flaming dragon, but there are really to get to the main topic, there are so many people who say, oh, you know, the bundles, they're ruining Call of Duty, they're ruining Call of Duty. They're not ruining Call of Duty. It doesn't change the gameplay, it doesn't change the balance. Sure, there's always an argument of, pay-to-win sights on a gun. If you buy this gun that comes in this bundle, the variation of it has these iron sights that are just so clear and so smooth, and it's pay-to-win. It's not pay-to-win. It doesn't actually matter in the overall meta or the grand scheme of things, but my main problem is look, Call of Duty has to have the answers. They have to be price pointing these things at a price point that they know is going to sell and give them the maximum profit. Because I keep thinking to myself, well, if they sold these bundles at a much lower price, right? Instead of a $30 bundle for that flaming green dragon skin and the weapon skins, what if they sold it for $15, $20 even? I would probably buy it then. But I think at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is it doesn't matter if it's Jimmy living, 12-year-old Timmy living with his parents. It doesn't matter if it's 40-year-old Jerry living with his parents. It doesn't matter if it's business owner Greg, who, has lots of money and is a hard worker. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your economical situation is. You're going to buy the bundles. People are going to buy the bundles. It doesn't matter what the price point is. People are going to buy the bundles. Universal rule. Quote me on it. People are going to buy the bundles. That is my quote for today. What it comes down to, regardless of people looking at the bundles and thinking, oh, they're too high, they're too low, the prices are stupid. The bundles are stupid. The bundles don't act as realistic military camos and bundles and stuff for me to enjoy. Doesn't matter. Golden rule. Quote. People are going to buy the bundles. Close quote. Call of Duty has learned that. You should learn that. Doesn't matter what they are, doesn't matter the price. People are going to buy the bundles. So since people are buying the bundles, Call of Duty is going to continue to make the bundles. The bundles are going to continue to be here. They are going to continue to sell. It doesn't matter what's in the bundles. It doesn't even matter the price at this point. People are going to buy them. I disagree with it, but that's the rule. Call of Duty has analyzed, look, people are going to buy these bundles. We're going to continue to put them at this price. It doesn't matter what the price is. I mean, again, the price matters. Probably if they were to bring it up to 40, I think will sell quite a bit less, but they have realized that people are still willing to spend half the price of the entire full game product that they have already purchased just for a cool skin on their weapon and on their character. So that's the rule. That cannot be changed. You can argue against it, but your arguments are invalid. They do not matter. Stop arguing against it because Call of Duty has the data. Call of Duty is selling these bundles. I see the stupid green dragon skin in practically every online match I play. Moving on to the next thing. So of course, let's just analyze real quick and kind of go into the importance of how did we get to this point? How do we get to the point where if you want to buy a Call of Duty bundle, you have to spend 50% of the entire full game's price for what could be considered 1% of all of the game's content when comparing? Well, let me just say this. Guys, we're at a good spot in Call of Duty's history. We're at a good spot where, again, people complain about this. You hear people complain about this all the time in the video game space. I spent $70 on a game and it was not a complete game. People say that all the time. And in many cases, in most cases, they have the right to. Yeah, they spent $70 on a game. They would expect to have a full game on release. And people can't say that all the time. But we can say that with Call of Duty. And how they compensate for that is they sell bundles for a ridiculous price point. They sell bundles for a price point where you look at it and think, huh, that's 50% the cost of my entire game that I just purchased. But you get a cool skin. People are buying it. It's making it so that all the DLC, all the zombies maps, guys, zombies maps, people love zombies. Zombies maps are free. You used to have to pay for those things for $15. $15 for 4 multiplayer maps and a new zombies map. Now, it's all free. Again, there's more to discuss. I'm going to talk about more in my next episode, a different topic. But guys, bundles, they're insane. In more ways than one, for good and for bad. If you have any thoughts, leave a comment. Appreciate your time. Take care.